What's up, wrestling community? Tom here from CollectAWrestlePalooza. Super excited today. I'm going to be opening up 3 new packages. I believe they are all vintage WWF VHS. I have been buying VHS recently because I think that market is about to explode, but I've been focusing on sealed VHS. If you want to see some videos of that, there are some previous videos I've posted about my sealed VHS collection, but today is going to be some vintage VHS, some well-loved copies that have been played, but I still wanted to get my hands on them. I liked the price, liked the copies, can't wait to open them and make sure that they match what was in the listing. Here we go.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
So I took the liberty of loosening up the tape on these so that I could get to the contents easily and you wouldn't have to watch me struggling with them on video. The first one here is actually not a wrestling tape per se. It is a UFC tape. The reason I opened it and took it out of the box is the box had a bunch of packing peanuts in it, so I didn't want those to fly everywhere on video. But I've been buying a lot of UFC VHS recently, and I think I've made some good investments. When I started this whole project of investigating VHS, I bought a bunch of sealed UFC VHS for pennies on the dollar, and anyone that looks at auction sites and follows it sees what the UFC is going for now, some of the early sealed VHSs. This one is called Young Guns. Let me open it up here. So it features a number of middleweight bouts, including Guy Metzger versus Tito Ortiz, famous fight. Evan Tanner, it's got Chuck Liddell versus Jeremy Horn. I believe Jeremy Horn actually beat Chuck Liddell in that fight, one of Chuck's early losses in the UFC. And also some heavyweight fights with Gary Goodrich, Maurice Smith, Kevin Randleman, one of the early UFC heavyweights. But what I really like about this tape is the front. Young Guns with Chuck Liddell, Kevin Randleman right on the front. Of course, old school, mature, violent material, mature audiences. You can see there in the middle of it. Just a great looking cassette. Love it. It's sealed. This is, I think, a valuable tape. Let's move on to package number 2. This should be a WWF VHS, if I remember correctly. Aha! The big boy. Wrestlemania 3. Anyone that is in their 30s and 40s and a wrestling fan remembers going to the VHS store, finding this and wanting to rent it over and over and over again. Look at the cover of that. Andre and Hulk staring each other down. Andre looks so cocky and confident. Hulk has fear in his eyes. The main event, no one knew how Hulk was going to beat Andre, and then of course he went in for the slam and the leg drop and the 1-2-3 count. Anyone that hasn't seen the HBO documentary on Andre, watch it. Explain some great background on this match. Andre was a wonderful human being and really put Hulk Hogan over. People don't remember, Hulk Hogan was an amazing star, of course, but after WrestleMania 3, he just blew through the roof with his defeat of Andre the Giant. This cassette also has the retirement match, Roddy Piper versus Adrian Adonis. Intercontinental Championship match between Steamboat and Randy Savage. Some people say that's the greatest match of all time. Got JYD, King Harley Race, Early Heart Foundation in a 6-man tag bout with Danny Davis against British Bulldogs and Tito Santana. Famous match between Jake and Honky, Billy Jack Haynes and Hercules Hernandez. Just some great other bouts. Let's look at the video itself. Sticker is in great shape. The tape, can't really tell. It looks like it's got some bend to it on this side here. I'm not sure if I would play it or not. I don't know if this is tested, but got it for a steal, and it's just going to be an object in my collection to look at anyway. The playability of it I'm not as concerned with, just as much as having the object. I know some collectors would want it to be playable. If I ever was going to resell it, I probably would put it in a VCR just to test it, but you know, again, I just really wanted to own the WrestleMania 3 big clamshell cassette. And then this one here, the brother of WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 2, King Kong Bundy against Hulk Hogan in a steel cage. underrated match in my opinion. The big blue steel cage, any of those matches were amazing. Hulk Hogan did get some color in that match, if I remember correctly. He had his ribs all taped up with some gauze to make it look like he was hurt because King Kong Bundy gave him an avalanche before the match to draw some heat. Really great build-up. This was the sophomore WrestleMania. Underrated again, just because I think that Hulk Hogan against King Kong Bundy, people compare it to Hogan versus Andre, but for the time, that was a great match. You also have Mr. T with Smokin' Joe Frazier against Rowdy Piper with Lou Duva, I'm not sure who that is, in the corner. A boxing match. I think that was the match that eventually Rowdy Piper, I think, body slammed Mr. T, got the DQ, and there's a lot of banter about that match in terms of Rowdy Piper not wanting to box Mr. T because he knew he could knock him out. Really interesting background on that match too, with kayfabe and them trying to stay in character, even though Rowdy Roddy could knock out Mr. T pretty easily. Also a 20-man over-the-top rope battle royal with William the Refrigerator Perry, WWF Hall of Famer, Bruno Sammartino in one of his last matches, I would imagine, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, etc., etc. Let's look at the back here. Of course, the matches I've already mentioned. Also, Macho Man against George the Animal Steele. If I remember correctly, George Steele went off with Elizabeth after that match. Greg Valentine against the British Bulldogs. Greg Valentine with Brutus Beefcake, I should say, otherwise known as the Dream Team. Surprised they didn't write the Dream Team there. They were the tag champions at that point. Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, against Magnificent Morocco. You got Terry and Haas Funk against Tito Santana and JYD. Totally forgot about that match. Early Terry Funk WWF match. Corporal Kirshner, Uncle Elmore, who was a big guy, against adorable Adrian Adonis, plus more. Every match in its entirety. Let's take a look at the tape. Again, well, the sticker is not in as a good shape on this one, but the tape itself appears to be in better shape. This side here does not have any wrinkles on it. It looks very straight. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to open up the top of this number 3, see if I can get any more insight into the condition of the tape. That actually looks okay. That looks very straight over there. What I was referring to, and I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but right here there's a little bit of a crimp at the beginning of the tape, so that was what would make me nervous, but not nervous enough. I probably would put this in a good VCR just to make sure it plays. And if the tape got ruined, so be it, but at least I could verify that it's a legitimate playable cassette. So there you have it, 2 big boys, WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3. I think for their age, they're actually in pretty good condition. They're tapes I've wanted to own for a while. And as a bonus, a sealed Young Guns, which, like I said, I think the early sealed VHS is just going to keep rising in value. That's it for this week, folks. Thank you for supporting the hobby. Enjoy your week.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.